Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth here from Primary Pickles, and I'm here for part 2 of the new teacher advice, tips and tricks, or not so new teacher advice. Maybe you're starting off in a new grade or with a new team or a new school, a new state, new country, whatever. So this is just some advice from a 5th year teacher, things that I found that have worked, things that have not worked. So take what you want, leave what you don't, take everything with a grain of salt. It's what works for me. It might not work for you, and that's okay too. So like I mentioned in my last video, I will try to do a self-care tip, a classroom management tip, and either a curriculum tip or some way to build relationships with students. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that I think is really important as a teacher that you teach early on, and that is how to manage pencil sharpening. The kids need pencils, they need them to write, they need them to do a lot of the things that we do. Even with technology today, pencils are still incredibly useful. So we do the Great Pencil Challenge. You might have seen this on Pinterest or on Instagram or on YouTube, whatever. You've probably heard it. It's like kind of like a little folklore thing that's been passed down. But it is a game changer. I did it for the first time last year, and I had 18 students. We probably didn't go through more than 100 pencils last year, and if you think about an entire school year, that is such a small amount of pencils to go through. So how does it work? On the first day of school, I will take my label maker and I will make a pencil for everyone, including myself. And the goal is to keep that pencil for as long as possible. So we'll usually say, after the first week, we'll check in. If people still have their pencil, bring it up to me. You get a prize from the prize box, something simple. You get a sticker, you get a stamp, whatever the kids kind of want, whatever their incentive is, that's what I'm going to give them. And then if they need a new pencil, I'll give them a new one. If not, then they'll just keep going until they completely run out. I used to buy like fancy pencils to put or to use, but we all know that Ticonderogas are the best pencils, so that's what I use because they last the longest and it kind of gives the kids the best shot at doing a good job. My kids, you have to really teach this routine too, so that's something that's really important. My kids know that when they come in first thing in the morning, they sharpen their pencils. They sharpen them after lunch or kind of when we begin our math instruction, depending on our specials that day. But they're allowed to sharpen their pencil twice a day. Obviously, if they need to sharpen it more, then they can, but they don't want to because they want their pencil to last as long as possible. So teach that early on. And also the great thing about it is that I follow this too. I have to have my pencil. If my kids catch me using a different pencil, they will totally call me out on it. And it's a great way to help build relationships with your students, which is my next tip. You need to build relationships with your students. And a lot of people think that it will come naturally, and especially I teach first grade, so my kids just kind of naturally love their teacher. That's the age that they're in. But I do still work very hard to build relationships with them. There are a few ways that we do this. One of the ways is that we send every kid a letter. If you follow me on Instagram, primary.pickles, you would have seen me mailing my letters the other day, and today I was super stressed and I just stopped and thought about it. I looked at the time and I'm like, oh, I bet my kids are going to be getting their letters soon. They're going to be opening them. They're going to be so excited to find out who their teacher is and to get a letter from their teacher. In the past, we've sent postcards, and that's really fun. You can get cute ones that say like a note from your teacher or hello or welcome to school, whatever. This year we did something a little bit different. So I have this personalized paper that our PTO got for us. Thanks, PTO. And so I just wrote it on this quick, simple letter. Dear blah, blah, blah. Welcome to first grade. I'm so excited that you're in our class this year. And then we also included a picture, just a simple welcome to first grade picture. They'll color this, they'll put their name on it, and then they'll hang it up in my hallway. If you've seen my other videos, I have a little hallway out here where I can hang all of my students' work. And that way, they bring this to back to school night, which is, for us, is before school even starts. It's tomorrow night, school starts Wednesday. Today is Monday. And they'll color it, they'll hang it up, and so before they even officially start school, this classroom will already be their classroom. They will walk in the first day and see their work hanging on the walls. That is huge. That's why in my last video I mentioned about having things be purposeful on your wall. The purpose of having these up is to build relationships My kids already know that I care about them because I'm already hanging up their work and I haven't even taught them a thing yet. So that's one way that I build relationships. Another way is just a simple little gift. You can see really cute things on Pinterest and Instagram where, you know, lollipops, whatever. I happen to have these footballs that I've had for years. I've been trying to find a way to use them because I can't throw them out. I have like 50 of them. And so I found this cute Bitmoji thing. It says, we're going to have a ball in first grade from Miss Stark. I think it's hilarious. They get a football. I love sports too, so that kind of works with it. So that's just another way that we're building relationships. So we have the pencil thing, the letter thing, and then we do wildly important goals, which is if X by Y, and then a time frame. So my goal, my wildly important goal, is to have lunch with all of my kids by the end of every month. So I'll just pick a few kids every week and have one day a week where I'll eat lunch with 4 or 5 of them, and we'll just chill and relax and hang out with your teacher, and it'll be really fun, and it's a really easy way to build relationships. My first year I taught 5th grade. I talked about that in the last video, and I had this boy who was super, super tough. He came from a not fantastic background, and I should have had lunch with him earlier in the year because we actually ended up building a great relationship towards the end of the year, and we kind of was a little bit strained for a lot of the year. But we just sat down and talked, and he was like, Miss Stark, you're really funny. How come you're not this funny in class? I'm like, well, it's hard to be funny when everyone is acting a fool. And he was like, oh, that's true. And then from then on, he was great, and we had a great rest of the year. One final tip for this video is to find a teacher bestie. You'll see this a lot on, like as advice for first year teachers. Teaching can be really rough. It can be really lonely if you don't get along with your team, which fortunately for me has never been an issue. I've always had really great people to work with. My school has always been great. Parents have been great for the most part. So just finding a teacher bestie, someone who gets it, someone who has been through it, either someone that you went to school with, went to college with, went through your teaching program with, someone in your building, someone who teaches in another building but still kind of knows what you're going through. Find someone that you can talk to about what's going on in your classroom if it gets really rough or if you have a really bad day. Unless your significant other is a teacher, they're probably not going to get it. They might be able to make you feel better, but they're not going to really truly understand what you're going through. So just find that teacher bestie, and don't be afraid to reach out for help. I guess that's another thing. You know, you probably have a school counselor and they're mostly trained to work with kids, but don't be afraid to go and talk to them about whatever is going on in your classroom. Make sure that you take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, how are you going to take care of your students? It's kind of like the airplane thing. You have to put your mask on before you can put other people's masks on, because you really do have to take care of yourself first. So those are my 3 tips for today. I'm going to be uploading a few videos this week. Hopefully I will be doing a classroom tour tomorrow before open house while my room still looks kind of nice. And if you have any comments or questions or advice for new teachers or not so new teachers, please leave it in the comments down below. Please make sure you follow me on social media. On Instagram and Twitter, it is @primary.pickles. So please make sure you follow me on there. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.